do the same routine. Coach, go ahead and make an opening statement. We'll take questions.
Yeah, excited about how the guys played this past week. Looking forward to the opportunity to improve this week. Certainly we'll spend some time early on the week just self-scouting and looking for areas to really target to improve. And then obviously as we move towards the week, we'll focus on the upcoming opponents. So important week for us to improve and get better. With that, I'll let you guys fire away.
Let's start with Charlie on the right here.
Yeah, hey Coach, just want to ask about Kendrick Law. I know he doesn't have a ton of touches so far, but just how important is what he does without the ball to the offense?
I thought he played fantastic in the game. He was very physical on the perimeter, and he's somebody that's important to our offense, and that we know that the impact that he'll have with the ball and without the ball will continue to be important for us, as the season progresses, because we think he's an excellent football player and he's good with the ball in his hands. What I think is special about him, in addition to that, is just he's exceptional without the ball, which is really the making of a great football player, which we think he is.
Jump over to the left side of Tony.
Yeah. What have you seen from the offensive line in terms of protection, and how encouraged are you, especially with the introduction of Caden Proctor in this game?
I thought the protection was outstanding in the game this past week for sure. And I think that certainly showed. I think when you look at the pocket and the space that Jalen had to throw the football, I thought it was excellent, and I thought they dominated the line of scrimmage in the run game as well. I thought our guys up front played really well in the game. We can play better. There were still moments where the execution can improve, the fundamentals, the technique, but as far as to this point, they certainly played their best in the game this past Saturday.
Down the left side, go Joe.
Coach, in the middle of the game, y'all went touchdowns on 3 out of the 4 drives, but the drive that you went 3 and out, it was after the 18 plays from Wisconsin. How difficult was that? What is the approach after sitting on the sidelines for so long, watching another offense work down the field, and what's your mindset right there?
Yeah, I think regardless of what the previous drive was by the opponent, our job is to get first downs and score points, and so, certainly the 3 and outs, we're not happy about those, and looking to improve in that area for sure. I think the drive you're describing, I think we had a penalty, maybe, a false start early in the drive, and so, those are opportunities for us to kind of, just regain momentum and execute and play good football, and we don't want those those moments to happen, and our guys know that. I think it goes back to execution, taking advantage of opportunities, in those couple of drives, we were in positions on 3rd down to execute and convert, and we just didn't do it in those moments. And there was other moments in the game, obviously, that we did. And so, that's the continued message to the guys, is just the consistency, the high level of execution that we have shown at times. We're looking to try to do that, down in and down out, and that'll be certainly emphasized moving forward, as it has been to this point.
Front row, right side, Nick.
Yeah, when the offensive line is protecting better, is blocking better, how does that change things for you as an offensive coordinator, as a play caller, what you can do?
Well, I think it always starts up front. I think being able to control the line of scrimmage certainly allows you to do more things. You stay in better down and distance situations. And so, to say that that's not important, I think it certainly is. And our ability to block, I think is the foundation of every good offense. It's, a fundamental that it's very hard to be productive on offense if you don't block well. And that's not just, the offensive line. It involves everybody, the tight ends, the perimeter, the running backs. You want to definitely be a unit that, is a very well blocking team and a blocking unit. And, it opens up run game, pass game, inside, outside, you name it. The key is that you block well. And so it starts up front. Obviously, it's the most guys. They're the closest to the ball. But the other positions got to do their part too. And I thought that certainly showed. You mentioned Hale. I thought Hale blocked phenomenally on the perimeter. He did an outstanding job. And there were other guys as well. I thought E-Man had some really great blocks on the perimeter. I thought our running backs in blitz pickup did a real nice job. And so the tight ends, I felt did a real nice job in the C and D gap. Multiple guys. And so I think all of us, to have the type of offense that we feel like we're capable of having, we have to be really good fundamentally and good blocking unit.
Let's go to the far left, Colin.
Obviously, he's been drinking from kind of a fire hose over the fall camp 3 games. But Ryan Williams, how have you seen him I guess, improve and kind of adjust to the levels of college football over his 3 games, and where have you seen the most improvement?
Just probably knowledge, just understanding of scheme, ability to play multiple positions, and that'll continue to grow. That's always a challenge for a young player, particularly on the perimeter, is, you try to teach them the offense through the lens of one position, just to try to get their feet underneath them. And then as they continue to understand big picture concepts, then you can move them around and they can play multiple positions. But I would say from the very beginning, Ryan's been an incredibly committed football player, one that wants to know, cares about knowing his job and where to line up and what's the split and what's the route detail in all areas. And I think Coach Shep and the rest of the coaches in that room have done a great job with him. But certainly for all players, they deserve the most credit. Ryan for being committed and wanting to learn and being able to play multiple positions in different spots, inside, outside, etc. It's not the easiest thing to do for a young player, and he's done a nice job with that to this point.
Go to Emily Grace in the middle of the room.
Hey Coach, what is your approach to a bye week and keeping your players engaged?
Well, I think we focus on the things that we need to improve on, and I think there's plenty, and so that's what, that's going to show up each and every week, where you have good moments and then things that you got to improve on. And so I don't think, this group is one that's focused, that's hungry, that cares a whole bunch, that loves football, and so I'm not concerned about the engagement of the group. I would expect them to be fully, we use the word intentional, in a week like this, is whether it's your rest, your recovery, your preparation, fundamentals, whatever it may be. Each player may be a little bit different. Each player, can best maximize this week a little bit different. And so I think the challenge to them is to be intentional with that, with whatever area that they need to improve on.
Back left, Steven.
Coach, could you talk about just the comfort level that Jeremy Bernard brings to Jalen Milroy and the whole wide receiver room, especially on the touchdown late in the first half?
Yeah, I think, that play, probably the best word to describe it would be trust. I think Jerm ran a great route. It's sometimes on those type of plays, it's very easy to get hung up on the top of the route, and he did a great job of running through contact and separating at the end, and then having the awareness of where he was located on the field to make the catch, get his feet in bounds, and then certainly on Jalen's side of it, to trust him to be at a spot and throw with anticipation to that. And so that's a credit to both of those guys, and certainly specifically with Jerm, just super consistent, steady, very talented, very good football player. But his demeanor, his disposition, his preparation, he's the same guy every day, and he always shows up ready to work. And we're real excited about Jerm and thankful that he's here.
Let's go back to the middle of the room. Kirk, you have a question?
Coach, in a game where you get to play a lot of players, can you talk about some backups that do their job?
I thought, the young group that went in there, I thought there was bright moments by, several guys. Caleb Odom had some catches, Rico Scott had some catches. I thought the offensive line did a nice job, Daniel Hale running the ball. And so I thought, collectively they were able to get some first downs. They weren't able to finish the drive like we would like, but and I thought Ty Simpson was in control. It's the second time Ty's been in the game. And I thought in both cases he's had poise. Ty had to go in earlier in the game when Jalen's helmet popped off, and we ran the ball, but Ty was ready to go. And so I think every experience for a young player, whether it's their first year, second year, third year, every time you get to play, in the game, I think is helpful. And I thought those guys, by and large, it wasn't perfect. There's still areas to improve on, but they knew what they were doing. I thought they communicated at a high level, and they were able to execute some base plays for us.
Go to the left side here, Alex.
I'm just curious how you think about designing quarterback runs while acknowledging the importance of keeping your starting quarterback healthy over a long season.
Well, I think there's the balance there, right? Is when do you utilize them? Where's the ball potentially being ran? I typically, just the location of the run, and what's the risk reward and what's the situation. Quarterbacks, you have the ball in your hand, you get hit hard in the pocket too, and so you're mindful of that. You certainly want the healthier players to that's important to you, and specifically at the quarterback position. And you also recognize it's a contact sport, and that's part of the game, and so we factor that in certainly when we're designing the game plan and when to call certain plays and how that plays out in the game. Sometimes it's week to week, sometimes it's based on your opponent. But I think what we're always trying to do offensively is utilize our players, put them in the best position to be successful. So that's what we're focused on.
Katie?
You want to talk before the season about the right tackle battle was going to go into the season, and then obviously you had some health issues to start the year. We saw in the third quarter of this game, Logan and Gino came in for a few series with the first team. What was kind of the reasoning behind that? Was that to get them some opportunities with the first team, or fresh legs, or what?
I think because they earned it, and I think that's really our approach, is we're going to play the players that deserve to play and that have earned it throughout the week of preparation, and not just just day to day, but also what they've done over the course of spring practice and fall camp. And I think both those guys, Gino and Logan, have earned the opportunity to play in the game because of what they've done in practice. And so that'll continue to be the case moving forward, whether it's at the offensive line position, the tight ends, running backs, receivers. We're going to continue to give guys opportunities to play in the game that have earned it in practice. And that's the message to them. And so practice is important. How you perform and play on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday matters, and it gives coaches confidence to put you in the game. And we want to play as many players as we can because of the duration of the season, and we talk about the health of players and the depth that is required to get through the season that we're looking at. And so those guys earned it and they deserved an opportunity to play in the game.
Let's finish up with Travion, left side.
Hey, Coach. The SEC pointed out that Jalen was tied for the most TDs by SEC player in the first 3 games over the last 20 seasons. And that's just a testament to his versatility in both through the air and through the ground. Can you just talk about how he's been able just to be decisive in both areas as a passer and as a runner through the first 3 games? And what you're looking for him just to grow through as the season progresses, going into the bye week and going into conference play as well?
Yeah, I think certainly a credit to Jalen, but I also would credit the players around him that have done a nice job, and I know he would do the same. All those opportunities for him to have production, there's been other players involved in those plays that have done a nice job. And certainly, Jalen in those moments, finding a way to get in the end zone, finding the open receiver, throwing the ball accurately, those have been certainly quality plays by him. And the best thing about Jalen is he's always trying to improve, and our job as coaches is to identify those things. He comes in every Sunday with a list of things that he's already seen, and so that communication between, our staff and him, to help him improve and point out areas where he did a nice job, where there's improvement from one week to the next, and also point out the areas where we still got to grow and get better. I told him this 2 days ago, that's going to be the case for him the rest of his football playing career. You're always trying to improve. You're always identifying areas where you need to work on. Each opponent presents different challenges, different certain types of schemes or coverages or pressures or whatever it may be. And so that's the fun part. That's what's exciting, is that you play in a sport where you've never arrived, and there's always an opportunity to improve and get better. And he loves that part of playing football and specifically playing quarterback, and that's why he's fun to coach.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate
full
it.
time.